Welcome, CryptoPunks and Metaverse citizens to VI, your virtual internet experience. Today, we're going to talk quickly about Nexus Wars and how Nexus Wars plays into the role of VI. So as you can read some of the information about what the Nexus Wars is and how VI is connected, you'll quickly discover what we're trying to build is a sort of virtual experience of what it would be like to participate in the MetaNet, HoloNet, in the year 7000 or so. So the key here is to understand that we're trying to build a simulation or virtual experience of what it's like to be in the future and experiencing internet in a different way. And that is where the why comes in. So on one hand, we are building, or rather I am building for now, is Nexus War, which is action RPG strategy / game MMO for space combat and metaverse experience within the structure of the game, within the 14, maybe even 15 factions. And in that game in particular, so we are envisioning the ability to experience the future in such a way where you're not only going to have to fight and trade and all that usual stuff in the games, you also have to get to experience and live in the game and interact within the players to create an illusion of, being in that future. And one of the things I understood as I was developing the design of the game is that not everyone is going to participate in combat. And not everyone's going to participate in this need to conquest and things like that. So there has to be an entry point where they'll interact. Every player is going to interact among themselves. And one of the things that's going to be is the VI. So how do you, in the year 7000 or so, how will the players interact with themselves in this new instant communication, conscious projection of internet? And so this is the eventual conclusion of the VI came. So there had to be some sort of another layer within the metaverse. So we basically create a metaverse within the metaverse. And then that's how we going to have to approach this. When let's say a young teenager, he doesn't have money, whatever, to join the game, to maybe purchase NFTs, but he still wants to participate and create social contracts. He joins the Unity factions, basically, a more peaceful, more mercantile kind of like population on the solar system, so that he'll be entering through the VI, and as he enters into the VI, that will be his first entrance into the Nexus Wars, and his interactivity through augmented reality, or something like that, is where he's going to be spending most of his time hailing ships and other trading enterprises. So, and this is where the VI and the idea, because we're kind of building the parallel, in the end, it's going to be a parallel development, because you still need to build a form of avatar. You still need to have the representation of your personal space within the metaverse of the Nexus Wars. So the VI is like a bridge between the two, and VI actually is going to serve more and beyond, because as we know, the internet will have its own life, and it basically does whatever it wants to do. And in that sense, and the VI is sort of like a question, and it kind of like asks you, okay, so if we're going to envision the internet in the year 7000, well, we can't really use it as a basic website, right? You can't just do that, and it can't be like iframe. So it has to be in a way where you experience that transversity of the metaverse within the metaverse. So hey, we all understand that, hey, we have the warp drives and speeds, and now how do we communicate in that future? And this is where the VI comes in. So I mean, there's going to be a lot of details how we're going to design exactly how you traverse and experience the VI within the Nexus Wars. But if we just look at they're separate entities, but they're kind of linked in the sense the first users will be the Nexus War consumers, perhaps. If it doesn't happen, I mean, obviously, remember, everything is subject to change. I'll be communicating all the development. And if there's anything happens, you'll be the first to know. So the most important thing to understand is that we're all coming from, like, if you go to Nexus War, to the VI digital, and you go to, I'm searching the website here. So if you go to the Nexus Wars. No, oh, yeah, Nexus Wars, and there's a hole in that metaverse. We got this gifs and gifs for Johnny Mnemonic, and this was 2021 for them, and they were envisioning this sort of internet where we kind of go through the virtual space, and we never really got to that because we're living in the 3D 3D virtual space, but we interact with 2D interfaces. So in this sense, this is what's VI is going to try to do, and this is what we're seeing in the metaverses in general, like Decentraland and in some ways Sandbox, is that we have the creation of avatars that basically experiencing the new perception of the internet in a 3D environment with the land. And so I think, and in our concept, VI and land may be a little skewed because the virtual is kind of infinite. So it's not that we're going to have the scarcity of the land, there's going to be scarcity of the content, or at least initially, and then we're going to transition into other things. But overall, I think you have to understand that VI is basically is output of the Nexus Wars. As the game design is going through the Nexus Wars, there became a necessity and realization. It's like an epiphany of some sort. Oh, okay, hold on a second. We can't really build a metaverse without the metaverse of that world. And one of the key elements of that was, hey, we gotta have a new internet within a future if we're going to have metaverse. You can't just like buy trade trips and materials and everything, create an economy in a solar system without the social aspect, because it just doesn't work. And you can't do it just using regular chats, because that just didn't make any sense. So it had to be exactly what it is, the split consciousness and the ability to be in multiple spaces at the same time, and the fact that you are like a person living in that universe. So it just had to come out like that. So yeah, this is what basically VI is, and how it works with Nexus Wars. So yeah, thank you for tuning in.